It's easy to be a recluse in a recluded spot, to be in a cave for 12 years, to be in the Himalayas, to be on the Ganges and be accepted as a sadhu. But to be in the center of the world, in the center of the cyclone, and be a caveman, to be a recluse, to be an individual within the center of the mass, within the center of community. There's a spot, the dead center, I'm going to call it. The dead center. You never hear when a person says, oh, it's in the dead center of the thing? Well, in the cyclone, there's a dead center. The calm in the middle of the cyclone. And that's where I am. My cave is Central Park, in the center of the city. The community around me, the workers. People come here to live in large, what I call, large, I was going to say crematoriums, but they're large, I forget the word right now, where people are buried in a building. I live in a 15, 18-story building. Displaced from the ground. I live in the middle of the cyclone. And one must be an individual within the group. Everything within the group is made to be within the group. Even in Jewish law, they have that you have to have 10 for a minyan. As I've said before, I believe in a communal minyan, if there was one minyan. But I don't believe in 100 different minyans with 10 people each. That's not community. The whole idea of the mass, of the community, is to bring out an individual. That's what the whole idea of the Nazir is. The Nazir has to be an individual within community, in the dead center. So I'm removing myself from a few things. And partly this comes about through my recognition of the nose as the breathing organ. And since I've had that nose as the breathing organ, I've opened up to see how and because everything comes from the Aleph, from the Aviyah, the breath, not the breath, but the air in general. And when the nose becomes the breathing organ, because the nose is the prominent feature of the face, and it's dead center, and the nose is constructed, well, I say everything is the Aleph, right? But in the future, you know how we write the Aleph with a slant? Actually, I just did the video where the Rashi mezuzah is straight and the Rabbeinu Tam mezuzah is horizontal, representing, by the way, the sun at midday and the sun at sunrise, sunrise, sunset, midday, and midnight. And I'm in the dead center of this. See? And our mezuzah is a slant. It would be, if it's 6 hours, it would be 3 hours into the day. And this has to do with Pesach. But in the future, so that's the way the Aleph is going to be written. You know, that's the way it's written now. But in the future, the Aleph will be written with a straight line. It won't be written with a slant. And there'll be two yuds on each side. And a straight line. Well, this to me represents the nose. And the two holes up here are the yuds. And this is the nose bone. And when you recognize that this is the way, that this is the nose, and this is the way you breathe, and even there's a parallel in a certain sense when I say breathe through the eyes, it's a certain sense that the eyes are involved with that vav. Because it looks like the eyes there with the vav, not only the holes in the nose. And when you recognize this in the body and that this is the aleph, with a vertical vav, and two yuds on either side, which is the same as the 26 of the aleph. This is the aleph in the olam haba, in the future, where one straight up, and you recognize that through your breath. And when you're at this level, you're sure. And you drop off like stages of a rocket ship. You drop off. Preliminary stages. When a rocket ship takes off, after it needs its initial stage to get out of atmosphere 1, so to speak, after it uses up its fuel, doesn't carry around its baggage, it drops it. Drop it. You know how I do in that gun? Drop it. Drop it. Drop the stuff that got you there. It was there for a purpose, to get you there. So today, when there was an elevator downstairs, women don't like to go into the elevators with me. So today I said, oh, you go ahead. I don't go into elevators with women. Oh, go ahead. I don't talk to women that are not part of my mandali, circle. Meher Baba used to have a mandali group. Mandali is a circle, like my samek. And inside that samek is an aleph. And that aleph and samek is Ein Sof. And how can it be? How can I be? How can it be? How could I be? Because my preliminary stages got me here. This is the promised land. That somebody will succeed. The individual will succeed. The individual will become individualistic. And he won't be individualistic from the group. He'll be individualistic and it'll be obvious. And it'll be obvious in relation to others. It's just the way it is. And I sacrificed my life, and my family sacrificed their lives for me to attain this. And these are people that were on my rocket. And they played their role on the rocket, and they dropped off. And they left me. I don't need to be on the Ganges. I don't have to be in a Tibetan cave. I can be in the heart of New York City and find that individual spark. You'll find out, and this is what part of coronavirus is, the community is a joke. There's no community. It's all an individual thing. To raise the individual And the Mashiach is an individuality. It's not a group. It's a spark. It's like Moses. It's a spark. There's one person that went up to Sinai. The group didn't go up to Sinai. One person went up to Sinai to commune with God. And he was there 40 days. He didn't eat, did he? For 40 days. And if you don't eat for 40 days, you'll receive that same type of energy. And if you do, in every what do you call it? Every methodology has it. If you do Tumo breathing, or if you do a breath of fire and Kundalini rising, if you do Sufi dancing, it doesn't matter what you do. The only difference is that a Jew has a certain Jewish spark, which is a spark of Hashem. And that spark is what's caused anti-Semitism. Because a Jew isn't better, but he's different. And it's obvious. So this is what this is all about. I don't have to go to the cave and meditate in the cave. Let me ask you something. They were in the cave 12 years. You think they received haircuts in that cave? Oh, the joke about Buddha sitting under the tree. Sat under the tree for 12 years. How come in the pictures of Buddha he doesn't have any hair? Because when the Buddha came back into society, and that's the joke. It's not that you come back into society to help sentient human beings. It can't be helped. Each individual has to find it for themselves. Nobody listens to you. Each has to find it for themselves. There are methodologies to do it. My community was my family, my immediate family, and they sacrificed everything for me. And I'm the last of the Mohicans here from them. And the thing that I can do here on earth is to raise their pleasure in Olam Haba, where their souls have gone. That's what the beauty of it is, that the lower world with these speeches and these actions can raise the sparks of the dead, of those that sacrificed for you. They sacrificed for me. And I recognize it, and I raise their sparks. And they receive pleasure, and they send me signs. They send me what I use the word ayat. I use the Arabic word. Because in Arabic it's brought down that everything's an ayat. Everything is a sign. Especially letters. Everything's a sign. It contains a malach, an angel. And I feed birds, which are angels. And the angels send down signs for me. And if you don't think this is a sign for you, then I suggest you drop my channel like every other person does after I do a great video. See? Because you'll find out that YouTube is not the medium for this kind of message. It's for the people of the group, where I'm trying to single out of the group. And I'm helping single out of the group. So if I'm brought down to help all sentient beings, I'm telling you to drop out of the group. Do it. Realize that you only have a few years here. What can I say? The point of all this is that in Olam Haba, when Olam Haba comes, the Aleph will be written like this: 2 Yuds, a Yud on one side, a Yud on the other, and a straight Vav in the middle. That straight Vav is how they write the Aleph now in Arabic. But this to me looks like nostrils, can also look like eyes. And remember, we breathe out through the eyes. So the transition of the Aleph from what we know it as to what that is a transition from me up into the Yetzirah world. And if you can live in the Yetzirah world, which is a Shabbos, it's to jump. And so here's another way to do it. That's the physical world. Jump. Jump off the ground. Jump. If you jump like straight up, you know when you shoot a rocket, go straight up like that Aleph. Jump off the ground. Elevate. Get yourself off the earth. Fly like a bird. Like a Moloch. Do you think you're ready? Tell me the truth. Listen to this voice. You think I'm ready? Don't you think this is what I've been doing? The last person to recognize one of the secret Hasidim, secret Tzaddikim, 36 secret Tzaddikim. Remember that each Tzaddik has 10 degrees of the world, of the 360-degree circle, and that makes 360 degrees. And my 10 degrees is New York City. See? So the circle, which is Samach, is 36. 36 Tzaddikim, and then there's an Aleph inside. And one of them, of the 36, of the hidden Tzaddikim, one of those is the Mashiach. So it's 36 minus 1, 35. 35 just happens to be family number. And a name spelling of mine. And the last to recognize, or if you want 36, and then add the 1, it's 37, that's a Yehida, level of the soul. And if you want, if you want the last to recognize that he's a hidden Hasidim, it's not the outside, they see it. The last to recognize it is the hidden Tzaddik himself. So I'm removing myself. I've been in the group. I'm removing myself to what I call the dead center. This is a beautiful spot in the center of the cyclone. And that's the hara point, or below the belly button, where the tumo fire is. And that aleph is part of an aleph shin, a esh,